So folks, the long-awaited game Inzoi has finally been released. I'm all excited as I go to download it, and then bam! Problems right at the start. It turned out that bloggers could get it for free, and I, like a fool, bought it.
Loser! Idiot!
But it doesn't matter anymore. But that's not all. I had to go through a real saga to install it on a Mac. Horrible! The game refused to work like a finicky cat. But after a few hours of struggle and a couple of cups of coffee, I managed to get it running. In short, maybe the game isn't to blame, but my nerves are definitely frayed.
Who do you even think you are to mess with my nerves, huh?
Alright, I think I'll start my epic adventure. 100 days on hardcore, like in Sims, as everyone loves. But it turns out that figuring out the game is quite a task. So guys, I didn't have 100 days of hardcore, but rather just my nerve-wracking 100 days. That's why the video is titled Hardcore on My Terms. Support me with a like, and I'll start my story about a girl named Kim who, like me, ended up in this virtual hell. So guys, I decided to create myself in Inzoi, installed the app, and scanned my face. And what do you think happened?
Absolutely nothing.
I didn't even understand how to upload it into the game. Well, alright, I thought, whatever, let her just be an ordinary girl, dressed her in what I liked, and off to battle. So my nerves are at their limit. So you know what? I can't handle an empty lot. I'll buy a ready-made house with furniture, just to at least understand how this game works. I thought everything would go smoothly now, but no. By the way, the video quality at the beginning suffers a bit because on this damn Mac I almost went crazy trying to figure out how to record video. But it's okay, the quality will improve later, so bear with my whining and the picture for a little longer.
You're so annoying!
So here we are in the house. All the furniture is here. My brain felt overwhelmed by all these settings. I decided it was time to meet someone. I went outside, but it didn't quite work out. People weren't particularly eager to meet. Maybe I just went the wrong way? Oh well, it's not a big deal. I better go find a job. Even though this game provides a decent amount of money, honestly, they'll probably run out eventually. Figuring out how to get a job took me a while too. I finally decided to go to a restaurant. Maybe it would work out there. I started talking to the staff, and lo and behold, there was no option to get a job. But I met a guy who apparently felt something for our Kim. And here begins the sweet story of how Kim met Steven. Well, let's say Steven isn't exactly a heartthrob, but you know, compared to the people I tried to meet around the house, at least he talks to me and is always in a good mood. One thing led to another. Kim started chatting with him and found out that he's a single guy. And soon they were flirting like old friends. She likes him and he likes her too. Well, in short, it's idyllic. Well, not for me, of course. What will happen with Steven next?
Who the hell knows? Literally.
Well, as always, not everything is as smooth as it seems, but more on that later. For now, let's continue getting acquainted. They chatted, took photos, confessed their feelings for each other, and kind of became a couple. Who would have thought, right? A couple? Well, at least for now. After some time, they decided it was time to go on a date in the park. In the park, they chatted, had a great time, and even hugged and kissed. And like in any beautiful story, the day came to an end, and they went their separate ways. At home, Kim went about her usual routine: bathroom, shower, eat, sleep. And a sweet message came from Steven, saying he had fallen in love with her. By the way, I did get a job after all. Yes, because as a reporter through the phone. And as always, it happened unexpectedly. And so the next morning, they sent her to the park. I thought, okay, going to work, great. But as soon as I saw that park, my head almost exploded. What to do there as a reporter? Well, of course, I need to find out something from people, I thought. I chatted with everyone around. But to be honest, I feel like I didn't really do my job. However, I did meet a bunch of nice people.
You really know how to do it.
Well, of course. There are always positives. Then I went back home, as usual, ate, slept, and so on. And the next morning, what do you think? I really did actually head off to work.
What the hell? Seriously?
It turned out that I'm not involved in her work at all. So why was I sent to that park then? I still don't understand. Well, okay, I won't dwell on it. And while our Kim is working, I've already managed to fall asleep. Time here doesn't pass like in the good old Sims. You speed up the game, and time flies by incredibly fast. And here's the story about Steven after our date. I'm all energetic, thinking, okay, I'll call him now and invite him out. But it wasn't that simple. For some reason, it was impossible to invite him, although other characters were easy to invite. I still don't understand why that was. In the end, I decided fine, if not Steve, then someone else. And I invited the girl Kim met. We had a great time, chatted at home in a cozy atmosphere, but still, it's not Steve. When my friend left, I thought, maybe I'll go to the burger place where I met Steve. Maybe he'll be there again? So Kim waited for him at night on a bench by the closed burger place. But who do you think she met there? Of course, no one. She started to feel sad, even lay down on the bench, all melancholic. And then some woman approached and asked if she was okay.
Tell us, are you okay, Sonny?
Kim even had a nice chat with her, but nothing special came out of it. The woman left and Kim started to feel bored again. And then, oh, miracle, a guy sat down on the bench. He started asking why such a beautiful girl was sitting alone on a bench at night. But Kim told him her story and he still wouldn't leave her alone. He started flirting and Kim didn't really resist. And to be honest, she even liked it. This guy turned out to be single, and they continued chatting, flirting. And maybe with him, Kim could have something lighter and more interesting than with Steven. And now a few general impressions of the game before we continue with Kim's story. My first impressions of Inzoi? Well, I played Inzoi, and I immediately had one question. Why does everything look like it's made of clay? Seriously? The characters move as if they were molded from dough, and the animations seem like they were done in a hurry. Of course, the graphics are nice, there's no denying that, but aside from that, there's nothing special. All the interactions in the game are strange, unrealistic, and to put it mildly, illogical. The characters act really dumb, and there are no proper buttons for interactions. For example, I wanted the characters to just sit and chat. A logical desire? Of course, well, no way. Such a button simply doesn't exist. If the stars align just right, they might sit and talk. And if not, well, good luck, hang in there. It gets worse. I decided to invite a character over. Okay, you would think, what's so difficult about that? But the person just teleported into my house. He didn't even knock on the door, didn't approach, just poof. And he's standing there as if he was printed by a 3D printer. What about realism? And what if I wanted a dramatic entrance, like him giving me flowers? No, only teleportation, only hardcore. The phone is a whole different story. Call someone? Ha! Forget it? The most you can do is send a weird gift. Why? For what reason? Who even needs this? Send a message? Can't do that either. Great life simulator, you say. And now, for the highlight of the show. I noticed the characters bathe in the tub with a towel on. What? Why? For what reason? In The Sims, at least they just cover with pixels, and it looks much more natural. But here, it seems you can't even relax in the shower. In short, these are the first impressions. Beautiful but dumb. Maybe things will change later, but for now, Inzoi raises more questions than answers. So, let's get back to the story.
Really?
While Kim was sleeping, she received a gift. Well, what a pleasant surprise. Too bad it's not from Steven, but that's not the point. Since Kim has a day off, I decided to invite Chi over. Cool name? So, what do you think? Of course, he just teleported in front of her like a master of magic. Well, okay, we're used to it by now. They chatted and chatted. What else would two adults do when left alone? Naturally, it led to the bed. I naively expected at least some romantic scene. Some blurred animation, something. Yeah, right, keep dreaming. They just threw a giant heart on half the screen and said, well, figure out the rest yourselves. Thanks, but no, even The Sims wins in this regard. At least they're the bed shakes. And yes, guess what our lovebirds went to bed in? That's right, in their street clothes. Romance at its peak. Apparently the developers think that undressing before bed is for the weak. After a so-called wild evening, I decided to treat the guests to some food. And of course couldn't find such a function. Huh, how? Why? Where's the invite to table button? It doesn't exist.
No soup for you!
In the end, Kim had to eat alone, and G apparently was sustained by the Holy Spirit. But that's not all. After their conversation, the game just took over and sent Kim to the amusement park. And I didn't even press agree. I didn't press anything, neither yes nor no, I just ignored the notification. But Kim was like, I clearly don't belong here. I'll go have fun. And she left. Alright, we arrived at the park. I thought, okay, let's see what we can do here. Kim decided to socialize with people. Everything seemed fine, until she suddenly stood in front of a shelf in the store and started eating chips without even moving away from the counter. I mean, she just took out the chips and started eating as if it was normal. I'm not surprised by anything anymore.
How long can it go on?
After all these adventures, I decided, that's it. Enough. Let Kim go home. Let's take a breather. And then a miracle. Steven himself, whom I had been looking for throughout the last episode, shows up. He wrote that he wants to meet and will come for dinner. Well, I don't mind. Just one nuance. Kim has already slept with G.
What?
Well, who's to blame? Me? The game makes her act like a heroine from a Brazilian soap opera. There's still a long way to go until the evening, so Kim busied herself with household chores. Time dragged on like waiting for a paycheck. But finally there's Steven. Of course not without glitches. At first he just teleported right into the apartment like a master of illusion. Then the game, apparently realizing this was cheating, decided to correct itself. Oh, it seems the guest has just arrived. Really? The notification came late. But of course I let him in, and then the bug festival began. I love it. First, Steven wanted to give Kim a teddy bear. Oh, what a sweet gesture, you might think. But he just froze with the bear in his hands as if someone had put him on pause. But the important thing is, he managed to invite her to bed without any glitches. Even with the teddy bear in his hands. What a clever guy, he didn't lose his composure. Oh, Kim, oh naughty woman, sinned again.
O Lord, we humbly ask for your mercy and compassion in our time of need. We seek your divine grace and forgiveness.
After another round of chatter, Steven finally put the bear on the table. Why not directly into Kim's hands? Because logic in this game is not our thing. Well, then everything goes as usual. Kim sits down to dinner. And Steven? Well, Steven can lick his fingers. Or maybe even Kim's fingers. But apparently he didn't expect this turn of events because he suddenly turned around and left. Param pum pum pum. The next day. And what did I realize? In this game, characters are sometimes just unavailable. You just can't call them, that's it. The game said no, so you just sit and wait. Alright, since neither G nor Steven can come, let's call a friend. We sat, chatted, and then surprise, the friend announced she's pregnant. Oh wow, interesting. We need to try this mechanic on Kim.
Brilliant!
Maybe the game can surprise me here. The hope is weak of course, but who knows. But that's for later. For now, we need to go somewhere to not waste the day. A cafe is a great option. Another festival of bugs.
Well, this is a complete mess.
Though, thanks for at least being able to eat properly at the same table. Alright, I take back my complaints. No. Alright, it's not particularly interesting here. What else can I do? Decided to check out the building mode. The selection is, to put it mildly, small. Well, okay, let's not jump to conclusions. Let's do this. If you like this video, then in the next one, I'll try to build a house from scratch and set up a real hardcore survival. Write in the comments if you want such a video. Drumroll! G is available again. Since that's the case, let's take the bull by the horns. Kim proposes to him. Now, Kim and G live together, which means it's time to have a baby. The first attempt I failed, the second, to the third. Oh, missed again.
Oh, what a pity indeed.
No worries, I'll make these rabbits multiply. But while Kim is unsuccessfully trying to get pregnant, her friend really wants to meet her and discuss something. Alright, the ever-accommodating Kim agrees. The location is a nice hotel with a cafe. While waiting for her friend Kim, orders donuts and sits at a table. A friend appears and just stands by the door like a statue. Why? Why can't he just come over and sit at the table? Alright, I'll take matters into my own hands and approach myself. But I have no idea what he wanted to say because Kim started all the conversations again. Let's get back to the main activity. Come on, work hard, bunnies. After a few unsuccessful attempts and lo and behold, Kim is pregnant. I was already thinking this lady might not be able to get pregnant at all. We shared the joyful news with G. He's happy, everything's great. Now we just have to wait 3 days for Kim to give birth. The countdown has begun. Alright, while we're waiting for the baby, we should check what else can be done in this game. I'll see where we can go in this city. The options aren't particularly vast, but my attention was caught by the Oracle Fortune Teller. As I understand it, this is a place where various divinations occur. Well then, let's find out the fate of our future child. But, as it turned out, the fortune-telling salon is yet another disappointment. Where is the mysterious aunt in a scarf who mysteriously waves her hands over the cards? Where is the mystical atmosphere? Instead, there's some old lady shuffling around the hall who doesn't do any fortune-telling at all. Kim, apparently, gave up on all of this and laid out the tarot cards herself, and then even touched the magic ball as if to say, if no one is predicting the future, I'll handle it myself. All of this looked less like a mystical ritual and more like a do-it-yourself project. Again, no special interactions, no unexpected predictions, no mysterious music. Even the ball didn't glow ominously like in other games. The next point is the boutique. There are 3 clothing options to choose from. We'll try on each one. It's strange, of course, that Kim changes in the fitting room but changes back into her clothes at the counter. Alright, let's assume that's how it was intended. There seems to be a sales consultant here, but as usual, they can't offer any advice or suggestions. They just stand there for decoration, like a prop. No interaction, no feeling that you're actually shopping. Dislike for this establishment. Let's move on. Let's see if there's at least one worthwhile place in this city. The next destination is the beach. Hello. But we can't swim, it's not allowed. Stand and admire the water, enjoy the view, but don't even think about swimming. Great entertainment, of course.
Well, what did you expect? Everything's fair.
Alright, I'll try to interact with other objects. A surfboard. Yes, another bug. Kim is practicing not on the board, but on the sand. How lovely. Physics? Nope, never heard of it. You can also play ball here, but that won't really help the situation. That's it, home. We're expecting a child and ending this hell. And at home, the first breakdown. Well, we didn't get married for nothing. Let the man fix the refrigerator. Yeah, his construction tools went right into the wall. Wonderful. Oh, how I didn't want to make some toxic video. Well, guys, you can see it all with your own eyes. Alright, he didn't fix the refrigerator after all. Apparently, he lacks the skills. Then we'll just replace it with a new one. Anyway, it seems like that's the only way it works in this game. While Kim is at work, I decided that Z would buy a car. We choose an inexpensive Hyundai and see what it's capable of. Oh, we can get in, pick a point on the map, and set off. Well, almost. Just a little bit. Let's go. And loading screen. Ugh. I really wanted to drive around myself, like in GTA. Alright, we're in the park, let's see what's here. We'll play a couple of arcade games, ride the slide. Oh my god. After that slide, I felt like grabbing my stomach myself. And then, guess what? She suddenly heads towards some girl, starts talking, and gives her a peck on the forehead. Excuse me, what? I hope that's just a friendly gesture. Although something tells me the characters here aren't even aware they're married.
Alright, your time is up!
Returning home, he hugged Kim lovingly, as if nothing had happened. Alright, let's just say I imagined it. Has this game even heard of family values? I don't think so. Kim's friend keeps calling her for a chat, and I'm starting to suspect, is he her secret lover? Although no, I hope it's not that dramatic. But it gets better. While G was at work, quite unexpectedly, some unfamiliar stranger had already, without our knowledge, settled in our house. Excuse me, what? What is he doing here? Why is he lying in our bed? And then something happened that I didn't expect at all. Ding! He came back from work after a long, exhausting and tiring day and then simply went to sleep next to this guy. What? Excuse me, stop the planet, I want to get off.
Damn, I'm absolutely shocked, man.
In the morning, I asked the uninvited guest to leave, and he even got offended. Of course, how could I kick him out of our apartment where he had made himself comfortable in my character's bed without an invitation? Oh, by the way, G got sick, he's coughing. Well, it's logical, really. Such gaming surrealism can knock you down. I would get sick too, though mentally.
Yes, yes!
Finally, I've been waiting for this moment. Kim is giving birth. We have a girl. I'll name her Julie. Just a random name from the suggested options. I was so looking forward to this moment, hoping to see something interesting. But do you know what happened? A second-long cutscene. That's it. Is that all the developers could offer us? Seriously? If you're making a life simulator, do it properly. In The Sims, for example, you can go to the hospital and give birth there. Yes, it all looks more like science fiction, but at least there's some atmosphere, not just boom! Congratulations, you have a baby. Alright, I'll try to see what interactions are available with the baby. You can play with him a little. But how do you feed, bathe, or swaddle him? I didn't understand. That's not provided here. I renovated the nursery. It's a bit unusual, but it turned out quite well. Maybe when the baby grows up, there will be more interactions, but for now, unfortunately, nothing interesting. I don't know what to say. I was looking forward to it. There was a lot of talk that this is the Sims killer, but unfortunately, I haven't seen any of that yet. I was very disappointed in the game because I expected much more. You can't even imagine how much I was waiting for it these past weeks, almost counting down the days until its release. And then such a letdown. Maybe I expected too much, that's why I'm so upset. On the other hand, after The Sims, it's very hard to evaluate something else. Maybe if I hadn't been playing The Sims since childhood, starting from the first part to the fourth, I might have liked the game, but now I still prefer The Sims. But if you're interested and want more videos about Enzo, I'm ready to create something interesting for you. Write your suggestions in the comments. I can create some kind of story like I did in The Sims, or try to build something and survive. In general, everything depends on your feedback. I hope I didn't disappoint you with my critical video, but honestly it's my opinion which was somewhat influenced by emotions. By the way, the game is gradually being updated, and just today on Steam, I saw that they uploaded some fixes. So maybe over time, everything will be corrected. Thank you for watching, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time. Bye bye!